What's up, everyone? How are you all doing? Hey, what's up, everyone? Let's see. Let's get that correct. And do we have... Is it working everywhere? Let's see. Let's see, boys. Let's see. Let's see if we're up on Twitch. I think everything's working good, though. Hey, what's up? Alright, we're live on Twitch. We're live on the YouTube. We're live on the YouTube. What is up, everybody? We're live on the YouTube as well. And are we live on the website? Let's take a look. Yo, yo. What is up, everyone? We're live everywhere. Alright, boys. Okay. What is up? Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody? What's up, Kirby? What's up, Nick? What's up, Oki? What's up, David Zhao? Thank you for the nice comments all the time, David Zhao. I see you leaving comments on the YouTube videos all the time, man. I really appreciate it. What's up, Artem? I see you too, mate. What's up, Rafi? What's up, Prophetic King? What's up, Solar? Let's go, boys. Let's go. Alright, then. So, got about... Oh, it's saying an error occurred. Why is there an error occurred? Is it working on the YouTube? I always have problems with YouTube. Let me just double check if everything's working on YouTube. An error occurred. Yeah, we're working good. Okay. Here we go. Alright, boys. So, in this video, live stream, we're going to be digging up... Hey, let's start at the beginning. Wait a minute. Let's start at the beginning, right? Everybody watching this, I want to say a big thank you for answering the bat signal, man. Earlier in the week when we put that YouTube video out, I said, please like the video. It would mean a lot. It would help me, you know what I mean, get more views on the video. Right now, because I've only just started making YouTube videos again, I took like 4 or 5 months off from making YouTube videos last year, just to kind of fucking get a more solid infrastructure where I can actually bring you videos every week without them being late and delayed all the time. Obviously, channel's a bit dead right now, so I was saying, please hit me with the likes and get those views up for me. And boys, you did. You answered the bat signal. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. We're going to be trying to do these prop bet videos every single week. And I thought I'd just rabbit on a little bit, talk a little bit about nothing in particular, just so more of you are online now. Because there's a disclaimer that I want to give everyone on these prop bets, right? Because I don't want anyone to get wrecked. So let's take a look at them. We're going to be going through every single fight on this card to try and find a decent value prop bet for every fight. Now, I've been tracking my results on these prop bets for about 2 years now, dating back to February 2019. And they are in profit. They're up about 22 units over the last 2 years, which isn't bad. I always say that to grind out any kind of profit with this style of betting is very difficult because I'm betting the vast majority of fights. So if you think about it, you know, most people think like the more bets that you place, the more you can win, but it actually works in reverse, right? Because ultimately, you know, it's just a fact of life that the odds are going to be accurate on most things. That's why betting sites are very, very rich. You know, Bet365, one of the most profitable companies in the UK, because they're very good at setting odds accurately. The public's not particularly good at moving them, you know, in ways to sharpen them up, I guess. You know, it happens every once in a while, but for the most part, bookies make money through setting very accurate odds and the odds staying accurate. So the more bets you place on the more fights or the more games, the more football matches, whatever, it should get harder to make money. So to make money from this prop bet experiment that we do should be almost impossible because we're almost betting every single MMA fight. So to make any kind of profit at all is super impressive. However, because we are also betting almost every single MMA fight, the prop bet results come with extreme swings, and that's why you see these huge boom and bust cycles. This is like the ugliest profitability chart ever. It's just up and down and up and down and up and down. It's a nightmare. It's absolute chaos. So when it comes to prop bets, I do give out loads of disclaimers, basically warning you guys that on any given night, we can get absolutely wrecked. Basically, like it's happened in the past where I've lost every single prop bet on a card, just because we're not trying to bet on the most likely outcomes here, right? My philosophy on prop betting is it's so hard just to make money predicting the outcome of who's going to win an MMA fight, that when you start to drill down into the specifics of how a fighter is going, not just who's going to win the fight, but how they're going to win the fight, when you introduce that number of variables into a chaotic sport like MMA, it gets very, very difficult. So instead of taking that sniper approach and trying to bet, really specific things which have a high probability of hitting, I go for the kind of prop bets where I see maximum value. This basically means that, this is a really good example, one we've got in already from earlier on this week. Alexa Grasso to win by knockout at TKO. It's not the most likely outcome in this fight, right? This fight's very likely to go the distance. Grasso to win by decision is probably the most likely outcome. But if we look at the odds on Grasso to win by decision, they're not going to be very good, right? Grasso to win by decision is currently around 2.25. So you barely get you only just get a 1-to-1 return for your money. By going for these higher risk, higher reward types of bets, you kind of capitalize on the unpredictable nature of MMA and the craziness of MMA. The theory being, if you have, 8 or 9 prop bets for a card, you only need to hit 1 or 2 to be in profit. And that's kind of like my theory behind it. So throughout this video, I know I'm going to be calling out these crazy props, and people are going to be like, nah, Usman to win by decision. And I'm like, obviously Usman to win by decision is probably the most likely outcome in that fight. However, the risk to reward ratio is very bad. So when you've got so many ways a fight like that could play out, betting on highly specific props and making money long term is very difficult. So that's like my philosophy. That's why I've got these disclaimers. Now, for prop bets, right, it's very important to recognize that gambling is a form of entertainment. You know what I mean? Like cities have been built, Macau, Atlantic City, Vegas, they've been built on gambling being a form of entertainment. So these prop bets are a way of having a little bit of fun. Sprinkling a little bit of money on every fight so that when you're watching the fights live, you have a vested interest in the fight. But these prop bets are extremely risky just because of these huge swings. So I just want to make that clear, because if you don't tail these prop bets every week religiously, and you just dip in once in a while, and we have a horrendous night, I don't want anyone to think these bets are super safe, super confident in these bets, you're going to make money, and then you just get absolutely fucking wrecked if we have a bad night. So I just want to get that out there, because prop bets are risky as fuck. And I've got all the disclaimers. We are in profit, but it's up and down. So yeah, but it is important to remember, gambling is a form of entertainment for many people. So it's all right to have a bit of fun with these crazy bets. My philosophy for prop bets is kind of like a spread betting roulette strategy, right? No one's going to go and put fucking $100 on the number 13 and be like, 13 black. I think the ball's going to land on 13 black and be super confident in that. It's a much smarter strategy to spread your money out, over a range of different numbers, hope the ball lands on your number. That's kind of like the prop betting strategy. The only difference is, obviously with roulette, the house has got an advantage. With prop bets, we've got the advantage, because in the past week, I've put 25 hours into researching these fights. We've got a really good read on how these fights are likely to play out. So while we may not be going for the most likely outcome on these props, we are going to be going for outcomes which are reasonably likely. So I'm trying to find a balance between, props that have a realistic chance of playing out, but also have a very, very high risk to reward ratio. And I think this is a really good example of one, because if the fight stays standing, Grasso is likely to absolutely dominate. We know Macy Barber's striking defense is very, very bad, and she doesn't really have the clinch work or grappling to alleviate the pressure if Grasso really starts to light her up on the feet. So that's like a really good example. But enough of that now. Let's get into finding some prop bets for this card. So process is going to be, we'll go from the bottom to the top, and we'll try and dig out a prop for every fight. Just to let you guys know, there are some other props like these ones, Maverick, no scorecards, action type bullshit bets, whatever. I won't be giving those type of bets out as props, just because only a very small number of websites offer them, so it's not really fair to everyone, and it's not really ethical for me to include them in my results if, not everyone can tail them. So anyway, I've put a couple of props in. We're going to be finding more on this live stream. And First one is going to be Gillian Robertson to win inside the distance of 4.05, which is plus 305. Also, to keep things simple, obviously the odds differ dramatically from site to site when it comes to prop bets. So just to keep things simple, I'm going to be taking the odds from 5 dimes. Just like straight up, keep it simple, no debate, no argument. So I like Robertson to win inside the distance here. She's currently 4.15 plus 315 on 5 dimes. I like this bet just because when you go back and watch Miranda Maverick's fight against Pearl Gonzalez, her ground game is at a very, very low level. And we know that Gillian Robertson's pretty nasty on the ground. You know, she's got really nice chokes, sneaky armbar attempts, and she's actually very heavy from top position, which is strange because she doesn't look that physically imposing standing. So many of you will be saying, why not take Gillian Robertson to win by submission, right? That's the most likely outcome. Both these girls are grapplers. Gillian Robertson's unlikely to knock Maverick out. The reason why I prefer to take Gillian Robertson to win inside the distance is because there's not too much of a difference in the odds, right? Robertson to win inside the distance is 4.15, which is plus 315. To win by submissions, 4.55, which is plus 355. So by taking slightly worse odds and taking Robertson to win inside the distance, I gain two kind of benefits from that. The first benefit is if anything crazy happened, like the fight got stopped due to a cut on Maverick, or Maverick got disqualified, or Maverick injured herself in the fight, it covers those 3 outcomes by taking Robertson to win inside the distance, and the odds aren't too much different. And on top of that, the Robertson fight's off. Wait a minute. No. Wait. You kidding me? It's still listed. You guys trolling me. Everyone trolling me. You guys trolling me, right? You guys trolling me, boys. Is it off? I don't want to keep talking about this. No way. You serious? Oh well, fuck it then. Sorry, boys. Motherfucker. Oh well. Alright, moving on. Sorry, boys. When did that get cancelled then? 7 minutes ago. Motherfucker. 20 minutes ago. Alright, well, sorry, boys. We'll crack on now. Motherfucker. Alright, next one. Well, I guess we delete this prop then, right? Okay, next fight up. Gabe Green against Phil Rowe. So the prop that straight away we've got our prop. We've got our prop on this one, boys. Oh, actually, wait a minute. We might not have our prop. I think I've seen one I like on this fight. Website is taking the piss. I do think we might have a good prop on this fight, boys. If my website actually decides to load, because I'll be typing it in here, just so we can kind of keep track as we go. Do think there's a good prop on this next one though. So Gabe Green. All right, boys. So if we look at the prop on this fight, the one I like is Rowe to win by submission. But what is Rowe to win inside the distance? Okay, so this is the inverse of the Gillian Robertson example. These odds are very different. So we'll go for Rowe to win by submission at 7.25. And here you see, you can get better odds on that if you shop around, right? All the other sites have got it at like 9.0. But just for simplicity, we'll just keep taking the odds from 5 dimes. Sometimes we'll get better odds. Sometimes we'll get worse odds. It'll all balance out. And I'll show you exactly why I think this is a good bet. Oh, actually, I can't show you on YouTube. See, this is why I hate... Hey, this is why you all need to follow me on Twitch. Because I can't actually show you why this is a good bet. Because my stream might get flagged for copyright. If we were on Twitch now, if we were just streaming on Twitch on my website, I could actually show you. But because we're on YouTube and their fucking copyright algorithm is out of control, I can't really show you. But basically, the reason why I like this bet a lot is because Gabe Green has a really, really low-level ground game. He's got no takedown offense, no ground game at all. And Phil Rowe is kind of sneaky on the ground. Like, Phil Rowe's not one of these guys that's going to come out, look to take his opponent down, and do terrible things to him on the ground. But he does train full-time with Jacare. We're not going to have to scroll too far to see Jacare in his corner. There he is with Douglas and Diego Lima, Lyoto Machida. There he is with our man Jacare. So Jacare and Phil Rowe have a really good relationship where Jacare actually corners Phil Rowe, which is really rare. Like, the only other guy I think I've ever seen Jacare corner is Alan Patrick. So Phil Rowe's grappling is pretty nasty. Now, he does appear to be one of these guys that does have quite a decent level of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but he prefers to stand and strike. However, Gabe Green puts so much pressure on his opponents that Rowe may look to alleviate that pressure, with a takedown. And if the fight goes to the ground, which it shouldn't be too hard for Rowe to get the fight to the ground because of how bad Green's takedown defense is, there is a significant risk that Rowe can submit him because, like I say, Gabe Green's ground game is at a very low level, so I do like that one. Let's move on to the next one. So Andre Ewell against Chris Gutierrez. What can we go for here? Yeah, you know what I like here, boys. You know what I like here. I actually like Chris Gutierrez to win in round 3. Let's go for that. It's 15.0. So I will give you my rationale behind this bet right now. Let me just type this in. Remember, these are not most likely outcomes, but they are outcomes with a really good risk to reward ratio. So that was 15.0, right? Which is plus 1400. So the reason why I like this one is if we pull up the fight record of Andre Ewell, we can see that 3 of his 6 fights in the UFC have ended by split decision, and he's actually been finished twice in his 6 fights as well by Nathaniel Wood and Marlon Vera. So one of the reasons why Andre Ewell goes to so many split decisions is because he does slow down a lot as the fight goes on. He starts very strong, he usually has a good first round, and then his output falls off a cliff, and he becomes much sloppier, into the second and third round. Because of that, he always allows his opponents to finish fights strong, which is why he's always involved in these split decisions. He kind of starts strong and then fades. And it's also the reason why he's been finished twice in round 3. Is because in round 1 he looks very comfortable, but then as the fight goes on, he becomes sloppier, easier to hit, and just a lot flatter. So I actually like Gutierrez to win in round 3 here, because the odds are obviously very generous, but I also like it because Chris Gutierrez is not really... doesn't really have any power. He's not really a finisher. He's not dangerous on the ground. Doesn't have that kind of one-shot power to hurt you. But he does have devastating leg kicks, which Andre Ewell doesn't check. And Andre Ewell's got kind of like that really lean, skinny frame where it should be easy to chop those legs down. Andre Ewell also just doesn't try and address leg kicks. He doesn't get out the way of leg kicks. He's very much someone that is there to be hit. So with leg kicks, we know you're not going to, we know it's unlikely you're going to get an early stoppage with leg kicks. It's more of a volume thing that accumulates throughout the fight, right? And we know the Ewell slows down. And on top of that, Gutierrez is taking the fight on about a week's notice. So he's probably going to start slow. And on top of that, we know Ewell's very, very good in round 1. Ewell actually does have the boxing advantage over Gutierrez. So Ewell's likely to have a very good first round. Ewell's likely to win round 1. But then as Gutierrez starts to wear on him, chip away with those leg kicks, I think we could see a stoppage later on in the fight. So I do like it. I do like it, boys. I do like it. Yeah, it's a shame, man. What's mad? Twitch is way better for live streaming, right? Or you could just watch the live stream through my website. You know what I mean? I don't even know where it's gone. Here it is. Or you could just watch it through my website, right? By here, it's just annoying, man. You can't show any video footage on YouTube. It's annoying. The ban hammer comes, and the thing is, I've been copyright flagged so many times on YouTube for showing fight footage. It won't take too many more situations before they shut me down. So I just can't take the risk, man. I just literally don't show any video footage on YouTube anymore in case they ban me. Alright, we'll now go on to the next one. Mallory Martin against Polyana Viana. Let's see what we've got for this one. So we got a couple of decent props so far. Obviously they're unlikely to hit, but the risk to reward ratio is really good. Bit gutted that Miranda Maverick versus Gillian Robertson's cancelled, because that was a pretty good fight for live betting. I was looking forward to that one. Okay, what odds have we got on this fight then? Let's dig out a decent prop for this one. Let's take a look. Of course, we also don't want to throw money away. You know, Viana by decision at 4.4 is kind of interesting to me. The problem with Viana is that she does spend so much time on the bottom. When you take Viana down, I mean, you don't even have to take Viana down. Her takedown defense is so bad. Because she's a BJJ girl, if you shoot in on her, she doesn't even try and stuff the takedown. She just pulls guard. So my problem with that prop is, if you go for Viana by decision, it's probably unlikely she wins decision, because if the fight goes the distance, it's likely because Mallory Martin's been able to rack up a lot of top control and avoid getting herself submitted. But then Martin, even though Martin's a grappler, she's quite weak off her back as well. You know? You see most of Viana's wins are inside the distance. She doesn't really win decisions because she spends so long on her back. I'll probably, don't know, man. That's like the most obvious one to me. But what's Viana by submission? See, that's not great either. I don't like that so much. 4.85. The odds on that aren't great. We'll probably skip that one, boys. We'll give that one a miss. All right, on to the next one. Belal Muhammad against Diego Lima. What have we got for this fight? Do you know, obviously, when it comes to my eye is itching. When it comes to looking at these prop bets, we're trying to find bets with a really good risk to reward ratio. Remember, not the most likely outcome. It's a fine balance between prop bets. You've got to be loose. You've got to gamble a little bit. You've got to take risks, but you don't want to throw money away either. Because, you know, small losses add up. And they slow down compounded growth. Let's bring up their record. The one that I was kind of flirting with was Diego Lima to win by knockout. Only because the odds are very good, right? Lima to win by knockout at TKO is 9.65. And Belal Muhammad does have very bad boxing defense. He tends to get rock, drop, wobbled, knocked out in every fight. Having said that, he's fought guys that are a hell of a lot more dangerous than Lima. Obviously, Lyman Good, you know, Tim Means, Randy Brown, Alan Juban, Jeff Neal, and they haven't been able to put him away, even though many of those guys have wobbled him. Diego Lima has only got 2 wins by knockout, one there and one there in the last 7 years. So that's probably a little bit frivolous. That's probably a little bit too loose for me. Muhammad wins by knockout at TKO, 6.25. Thing is, Muhammad's not that dangerous, right? He's more of a volume striker. So I'm not sure if I'm feeling that either. But then, look at that. Eddie Gordon knocked him out. Tim Means knocked him out. Jing Liang knocked him out. Jason Jackson knocked him out. Hasn't been knocked out in a while, but then he hasn't really fought any decent strikers, right? Luke Jamo's quite passive, no power in his hands. Court McGee, more of a blue-collar grinder. You know, Court McGee never knocks anyone out. That fight ended quick. Yushin Okami is a wrestler. Jesse Taylor's a wrestler. Galacchio's a wrestler. Smith's a wrestler. Do you know what? Hayder Hassan does actually hit like a truck. So it's interesting how that went the distance, but then it was only 2 5-minute rounds. So what are the odds on Muhammad to win by knockout at TKO? He's 6.25. That's not bad. That's not bad. I probably will go for that, just because Diego's got a long history of being knocked out. And we know for a fact that Belal will bring it, right? Belal will come hard for 15 minutes. So even if even if Belal's more of a volume striker that is unlikely to, deliver that one fight-ending KO, maybe like we were saying with Chris Gutierrez, Belal Muhammad can kind of break Diego Lima down with pressure and volume and like stop him in the second or third round. So we'll go for that. The odds are a little bit generous just because of how many times Lima's been KO'd in round 1. What were the odds? 6.25, right? Those odds are possibly a little bit wide. We'll update that just for a second. We'll update it. Alright, boys. Mayday is asking about Belal by sub. I don't think the odds were great on that, mate. I think it was 3.5, which is about plus 250. Or am I wrong? No, I'm going to be wrong there. 5.85. Yeah, I don't like that, man. The thing with Belal by sub is he doesn't have very long limbs. He's quite small for a welterweight, so it's kind of hard to catch big guys like Diego Lima in bad positions on the ground when you're small, just because if you've got short limbs, it's hard to kind of control them, if that makes sense. Alright, we now go into the next one. Rodolfo Vieira against Anthony Hernandez. Obviously, the one everyone's going to be looking at is Vieira by submission, but the odds on that are absolutely terrible. So I will actually go for Vieira to win by knockout or TKO. And this is a mistake that I see bookies make a lot, where if you've got like a submission grappler like Rodolfo Vieira, straight away what they'll do is they'll like set the odds to win by submission at really, really steep odds. But then they'll make very, very generous odds on to win by knockout or TKO. But what they don't realise is, obviously, if Rodolfo Vieira traps Hernandez in a bad position on the ground, he can gain the stoppage on the ground with ground and pound, and that'll count as a TKO, knockout or TKO victory. So I think that kind of, they overlook that a little bit. You can sometimes find a bit of value there. And I think that's one of those examples. Because we did see Vieira inflict quite a bit of damage on Saparbek Safarov in his last fight when he was trying to soften him up to get him to give a submission up. Do you know what? The odds on 7.70 aren't bad. If you shop around, you can get like 10.0. That's pretty good. That is not bad. That is not bad at all. So we'll take that. Plus, I will also say that even though Rodolfo Vieira is obviously a very high level grappler, a submission grappler, he's probably got the advantage standing here as well. And we've seen Anthony Hernandez drop twice in the UFC with body shots. Marcus Perez dropped him and Kevin Holland dropped him. So, you know what I mean? It's not like Hernandez is one of these ruthlessly tough guys. It's going to be very difficult to finish. Rodolfo, big, strong, physically imposing guy. Maybe you can catch him with something. Do you know what I mean? So, let's look at the next one now. Brian Kelleher against Ricky Simone. So, the first prop I'm interested in is obviously Simone by decision, but I'm guessing the odds will be terrible. They will. Odds are very, very bad. Let's see if we can find something else then. So both these guys are tough as nails. So I do think this fight is likely to go the distance. Yeah. For the same reason that I didn't like Polyana Viana to win by decision, I don't like Kelleher to win by decision. Because if the fight does go the distance, it's really, really likely that Kelleher spent loads of time on his back getting absolutely wet blanketed by Simone, because Simone's obviously got the gas tank to spam takedowns relentlessly for 15 minutes, and Kelleher's takedown offense and ground game is super weak. So I don't like that. That's a little bit trappy. And then the obvious other long shot one would be Kelleher to win by submission, because he does have a very nasty guillotine choke, but then Ricky Simón is such a strong offensive wrestler. Like, surely he's too smart to get caught by that guillotine, because when Ricky Simón shoots takedowns, a lot of them come off the body lock, which means the guillotine's not going to be there if you're shooting a takedown off the body lock. And if Simón does shoot a single or double leg, you'd think he'd be smart enough to just take Kelleher down into side control. I don't think Ricky Simón's ever been submitted. Yeah, flash knockout, decision. I did get submitted by... It wasn't that long ago either. 5 years ago was a long time. But he has been submitted one time. That's probably the one, right? Because they are likely to spend a lot of time on the ground. But then Kelleher is a little bit of a one-trick pony. So that's probably a little bit frivolous as well. I'll take a pass on that. Like I say, we don't want to just throw money away. We don't want to just throw money away. You know what I mean? We want to keep it semi-tight. Alright, next one. What have we got? Julian Marquez against Maki Pitolo. Alright, what are the odds on Marquez to win by submission? Not great, actually. The bookies have kind of figured that one out. Fair enough. Only because Pitolo's submission defense is very, very bad. Gave up a very, very weak submission to Darren Stewart. And even though Julian Marquez is primarily a striker, you do see, you know, he submitted Darren Stewart. You know, he will go to his grappling. I actually don't mind that. You know what I mean? You could shop around and get Marquez to win by decision at up to 8.50. I quite like that. We'll go with that. Just because Maki Pitolo's ground game is so bad that if these guys do go to the ground, there is a good chance that Marquez can catch him in something funky. So I do like it. It's probably one of my favourite prop bets for this week. I do like that. Very nice. And what we'll do, boys, I'll go, if you got any questions for me, man, about the fights tonight, I will answer them as soon as we're done with these props. It shouldn't be too much longer. Obviously, quite fast to whiz through these tonight with the fights that keep getting cancelled, down to just 10 fights now, right? And after this, we'll put a couple fun parlays together again, all for a bit of fun. Gotta get those disclaimers out there. Although we did hit one last week. We did hit one last week, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I think we did. Let me just double check if we did hit that prop last week. I'm sure it was last week. Osborne, Valiev, Rosa Volkov. Yeah, only 4.23, but not too bad. See, this is annoying. We were one leg off hitting a 24.94 parlay, which is odds of plus 2394. Diego Ferreira was the only leg to let us down, which was a bit annoying. And this one as well. Yeah, we almost hit a parlay, 232.03, which would be... What are the odds on that? It's going to be plus... Yeah, plus 23,000. One leg off last week, hitting a plus 23,000 parlay. Ferreira is the only one that let us down, man. Nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Alright. Let's go, boys. Let's get into the next one then. We've done Marquez, right? Marquez is in. We don't need that. We don't need that. We need this. Refresh that. Yeah, Marquez and Vieira are in. Alright, let's do the next one. We haven't missed any fights. No, we got them all in. Okay, Kelvin Gastelum, Ian Heinisch. So Gastelum to win by knockout is the one jumping out at me. And I'm not really too interested in any of the outcome. Wow, the odds are really good. Those odds are way off. Those odds are way off. Recency bias is wreaking havoc on these odds. I think a lot of wiki capping is going into the odds on this prop. There's actually a decent amount of value there, and I will explain why once I just type this in. I am a man, so obviously multitasking is very difficult for me. I can't think and type at the same time. That's fucking impossible. So the odds are quite off. Do you know what? The prop bets that I'm giving you here are all kind of like speculative long shot prop bets. But this is the first prop I've given you where I actually think it's the most likely outcome. If you were to say, Chris, how is the Heinisch Gastelum fight most likely to end? I would say Gastelum knockout. So it's very nice there to get in a nice solid prop. Because using our prop bet philosophy, right? Say, for example, this prop wins. Gastelum to win by knockout or TKO. Plus 410 payoff. Straight away you cover losses on that, and that. So if you just win Gastelum by KO, you're only down 2 units across these bets. If you hit any other one of these bets, if you hit 2 of these 7 bets, you're up quite big in profit. That's kind of like the philosophy behind how I approach props. So the reason why I really like Gastelum versus Heinisch is because I think there's a lot of wiki capping going on here. You know, people have looked at their records and they've gone, you know, Heinisch has never been knocked out. You look at his record, never been knocked out, right? He's been submitted, but he's never been knocked out. And then they look at Gastelum and they go, oh, we look at Gastelum's record and, you know, aside from, you know, really old guys, Bisping, Belfort and Kennedy, who were all on their way out of the sport when he knocked him out, Gastelum hasn't really knocked anyone out. He's gone to a decision in 3 of his last 4. Like, Gastelum's clearly not going to be able to cause a problem to a guy like Heinisch, who's big, tough, strong, and never been knocked out. However, what you have to understand is that guys like Darren Till, Israel Adesanya, Ronaldo Jacare Souza, and Chris Weidman, they all had things that they could do to prevent Gastelum from doing what he does best. So Darren Till and Adesanya had the size, the reach advantage, the footwork, the striking defense. Jacare had the threat of the takedown, and also Jacare's striking defense is deceptively brilliant. Don't forget, this guy trained with Anderson Silva his entire career, and obviously every time Gastelum came forward and attacked Weidman, Weidman was able to alleviate that pressure with a takedown. Now, Gastelum wobbled Weidman, wobbled Adesanya and dropped him in that fight. And when you look at Ian Heinisch's fights, Heinisch's striking defense is very, very, very bad. Heinisch's striking defense is bad. He doesn't read his opponent well. He doesn't see the shots coming. And he's not a very skilled boxer. So there's a lot of recency bias going into these odds because Gastelum is very, very dangerous. He's a dangerous southpaw, heavy hands, you know, good combinations, very fast. You know, he's skilled enough for a really high-level striker like Darren Till to put in the most disciplined performances of his career, right? Darren Till didn't go near Gastelum. He fought a very safe fight because he respected how dangerous Gastelum was. You know, the point I'm trying to make is Ian Heinisch is not at the level of guys like Darren Till and Adesanya. He doesn't have that level of striking defense, head movement, footwork. If Gastelum can drop a guy like Israel Adesanya, you bet your fucking ass that he can knock a guy like Ian Heinisch out. So I think that those odds are real fucked up, actually. There's a big step up in competition for Heinisch, and it's a very good stylistic matchup for Gastelum. That's my favourite prop for sure. That is my favourite prop, man. Oh, Jesus. Broadcastful is saying he almost hit a plus 64,000 fucking parlay. Screwed by Volkov by decision. Unlucky, man. Unlucky, mate. That's a bit of a mad bet, though, putting Volkov by decision in a parlay, dude. That is a bit of a wild decision. Crazy. But anyway, boys, if you've got any questions for me, get them in, because we'll be done with the prop bets soon. We're almost done, boys. Not too long now. Brown Don is saying the odds have already dropped on Gastelum. Yeah, that's one of the problems, right, man? If we look at yeah, I've got it in the disclaimer about liquidity. Problem with props is, we've got the disclaimer here, right? Problem with prop bets is right now we've got about 200 people watching this, and liquidity on props is just very low. So if 200 people go out and try and bet Gastelum by knockout or decision, the odds get absolutely mollywopped, which is a bit unfortunate. Which is why I post the majority of my content on my website, right? Do a smaller audience, because obviously the bigger the audience, the more of an impact it has on liquidity, which is a bit of a nightmare. But hopefully some of you got in. I mean, even at 4.50 plus 350, I still like Gastelum. I still like Gastelum actually by knockout at TKO. I do like that one. All right, on to the next one then. Alexa Grasso against Macy Barber. So I already put a prop in for this earlier on in the week. I'm not sure what the odds are now. I think I posted this on like Tuesday. It was Grasso by... Oh, they're still the same pretty much. Still the same. Yeah, so Grasso to win by knockout at TKO at 10.55 plus 955. I really like this prop. Again, it's not the most likely outcome, but it is a possible outcome, because all of Macy Barber's takedown attempts in her past fights have come above hip height. She's not a very strong offensive wrestler. Now that might change, tonight. She might come in with much better offensive wrestling than usual, but in her past fights, Macy's offensive wrestling was really bad. Based on Macy's past fights, I think she's really, really going to struggle to take Alexa Grasso down. Now, Grasso's takedown offense is very, 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 very bad. I don't want you to think that I'm some like clueless, deluded idiot. I understand Grasso's takedown defense is very bad, but in order to take someone like Grasso down, you need to get in on her legs and upset her balance. And Barber doesn't have that kind of takedown in her arsenal. Like I said, it's not to say she won't show up on Saturday night with improvements, but as it stands, we haven't seen it. So I like Grasso to win by knockout or TKO at big favourite odds. Big underdog odds. Just because I don't see Barber being able to stand and strike with Grasso for 15 minutes. Just because Grasso's boxing is so good. She throws a really high volume of strikes. She sits down very hard on her strikes as well. And Barber just doesn't have any striking defense. Doesn't see the shots come in. Doesn't move ahead. So this could turn into a really ugly fight where if Barber can't tie Grasso up and keep her in the clinch, and if Barber can't get this fight to the ground, she's just going to get her face boxed off for 3 rounds. And I think in that situation, because Barber just doesn't have the skills to defend herself standing, there's a really good chance Grasso could get a TKO stoppage. Again, not the most likely outcome, but at 10.0, I do think there's value there. Because to be fair, it is, even though Grasso's takedown offense is bad, she's quite physically strong. She's quite difficult to control in the clinch. And most of Barber's, tactics for getting fights to the ground is to tie girls up in the clinch. I don't think it's going to be easy to do that for Grasso. So there's not even areas where Barber can take the fight, where even if she can't necessarily get the takedown, she could maybe run the clock down and buy herself some time of, not getting lit up by Grasso's boxing. So yeah, man, it's one of those situations where I think there's a good amount of value on that. So let's take a look here. Obviously, everyone's thinking the most likely outcome, Usman by decision, but I'm guessing the odds on that are going to be terrible. They are. So next, I would go to, we'll go with that. We'll go for Burns by knockout or TKO, and I will let you know exactly. Or actually, maybe not. Let's just double check what inside the distance is. No, actually, inside the distance is quite significantly worse odds than by knockout or TKO. So we will actually go with knockout or TKO. I'll give you my reasoning in just a second. Again, remember, boys, this is not the most likely outcome. This is just an outcome where I see it hitting with a reasonable percentage of the time. With the tactic to be just to win 2 or 3 of these bets, to bank a nice overall profit. 7.50. So the reason why I like this one is just because Gilbert Burns is at such a high level on the ground. I'm not convinced that Kamaru Usman is going to want to take this fight to the ground. A lot of people think that Usman's size and strength and physicality is just going to enable him to tie Burns up, drag him to the ground, and kind of wear on him. But Burns is so offensive on the ground. He's always attacking legs, throwing up triangles. You know, he's always attacking arm bars. That Usman might not want to play that game on the ground. You know, for all we know, Burns can cause Usman big trouble on the ground. We've not seen Usman fight, you know, a really high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner that can attack him on the ground for an extensive period of time. Obviously, Damian Maia put him in some bad positions in round 1, but we know that Maia gets tired after round 1, so he's not the same threat. Burns can pose more of a threat to Usman much deeper into the fight on the ground. And so, you know, in the Colby Covington fight, you know, Colby, former NCAA Division 1 level wrestler, you know, we saw Usman just not bother with his grappling and he got into a stand-up fight. Now, Usman has never been knocked out before, but again, you've got to consider the wiki-capping aspect of the odds here. He's never been knocked out before, but then that's because the majority of his fights revolve him around grabbing hold of his opponent, tying him up, driving him into the cage and just wet blanketing him for 3 rounds, 5 rounds, however long the fight lasts. His opponents don't get an opportunity to knock him out because he smothers them in pressure. They're not fighting in a range where they can land that knockout shot. So just because Usman has never been knocked out before doesn't mean he won't be knocked out tonight, because tonight he's facing a style he's never seen before. A style, well, he has seen it. They trained together, obviously. But he's facing a style that he's never fought before, that we've never seen him fight before. If you go back and watch the Colby Covington fight, there were 2 or 3 occasions in that fight where Usman did get wobbled, like his legs went for like a split second. And we know Colby Covington doesn't really have much power in his hands. He's more of a volume striker, right? He was able to inflict damage on Usman and hurt him. We also saw Usman looking very timid and fragile during periods of the Emil Weber-Mech fight, where Mech would like bum rush him and Usman would panic a little bit and eat these big power shots. You know, that was a fight where Usman famously said, you know, that was only 70% of what he could have done, you know, something like that. He also looked a little bit reckless and fragile against Masvidal in flashes as well. You know, we know Gilbert Burns making big improvements to his striking. You know, he's the only guy I've ever seen to one-shot, dash shot Damian Maia. Do you know what I mean? Damian Maia's gone a distance with some of the most dangerous strikers in the history of the sport. Anderson Silva couldn't hurt Damian Maia like Gilbert Burns did, and that was prime Silva as well. You know, he has looked dangerous. He inflicted big damage on Tyron Woodley. So I think it's a reasonable speculative bet to take. Like I say, it's not a likely bet. It's not likely to win. But at 7.50, I like it. Right, boys. Now let's dig up. Yeah, nice one, David. Appreciate it, mate. Hit the like button if you haven't already, boys. I really appreciate it. Hit the like button if you haven't already. And yeah, man. Let's put some parlays together then. Let's go. Let's put some parlays together, and then we'll whiz through answering some questions. So I'm gonna probably find it very difficult to do parlays for this card, because there's honestly no one that I feel that confident in. So the kind of way that I usually do parlays for the prop bets are, I have one long shot parlay, which is like a reasonably safe one, which loses the majority of the time, right? But reasonably safe. Hail Mary, which is like in the middle, so like a 5 or 6 leg parlay, and then a lottery ticket parlay, which is just insanity at huge steep odds. So the theory behind this strategy is, I'm hoping that over the long term, the long shot parlay pays for the other 2, and every like once in a while, maybe once in a year, we'll hit a lottery ticket parlay, which will pay for like the next 2-3 years of parlays, something like that. So that's kind of like the rationale behind it. But obviously, again, like we're saying with props, the vast majority of time, all 3 parlays lose. Like nothing about this live stream, nothing about this content is telling you like this is likely to hit. You know what I mean? This is a safe bet. All these bets are likely to lose. So what should we go for here then? It's going to be tough this week because, like I say, there's no one that I really feel too confident in. I think the guys that I'm most confident in this week are Kelvin Gastelum and Ricky Simone. So we'll pop them in. Then we'll go for Rodolfo Vieira, Belal Muhammad. And after that, it gets grim, to be honest. Odds are 3.25. Bit shit. I would like someone else to kind of bump that a little bit. Let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that 4 leg. Obviously, the payoff is terrible. Usually, I would want a much better payoff, much better odds there. The odds are absolutely shocking. However, like I say, if we could hit this bet, and it does have a reasonably good chance of winning, if we can hit this bet, the profits from this parlay would cover potential losses on the other 2 parlays, right? So that's kind of like my theory here on that. I'm really struggling with fighters I feel confident on this card. Very much struggling. Alright, that's the first one done. Did it just... Oh no, it's just saved in the wrong file format. Motherfucker. Oh, have I been doing that all day? Nightmare, 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 nightmare. Wrong file format. Okay, okay, right. That's the first one. Who do I feel next can get it done? Probably Julian Marquez. And purely based on past performances, Alexa Grasso. But like I say, at the end of the day, Macy Barber's a grappler who's 22 years old, and she doesn't have any wrestling at all. I'm guessing at some point in the near future, Barber is going to develop wrestling, because grapplers can't beat grapplers if they can't get fights to the ground, and she's training at grappling-based gyms. So maybe tonight is the night where Barber shows up with significantly better offensive wrestling than we've seen from her before, and she causes Grasso big trouble. Like, it's going to happen sometime soon. But based on past performances, it hasn't happened yet, so I'll go with Grasso. But I wouldn't at all rule out the possibility of Barber looking completely different tonight. Alright, so now we want to go for like the moonshot lottery ticket Lambo odds, right? So we will go for Gilbert Burns. Chris Gutierrez. And Phil Rowe for the lottery ticket. And like I say, man, if you think about it realistically, right? If you think about it realistically, you only have to hit one of these bets a year to pay for like almost 2 years worth of parlays. And one thing that I need to get someone to do for me, Hiltzy, if you're watching, mate, Hiltzy, you could help me out with this. Hiltzy is an absolute legend. Hiltzy's the guy. Basically, there's so many little jobs that I have to do on my website all the time that all add up and take a lot of my time. And keeping the results up to date on my website is something that is quite time consuming because the amount of different types of bets that I post on there. So Hiltzy is my guy that keeps my results up to date for me, man. And he's an absolute legend. He helps me out loads. So maybe we could put like a profitability chart together for these parlays, because since I've been tracking them for like 2 years, I have absolutely no idea how they're doing, and I know for a fact that we have hit a few. So what I'll do, boys, I'll post these props into this article now, and then while I'm answering your questions, boys, we can answer your question. Like we could just leave this up in the background so you can lock in the bets, right? So guys, please, if you've got any questions for me about the fight tonight or about anything else you want to ask me questions on, please post them now and we'll get to them in just a sec. Oh shit, I'm hoping that no. Let's just see how that looks. My template's actually been deleted here, boys, so I might have to scroll back and find an older article a sec just to get some image dimensions. Do apologise, boys. Drop your questions in. You can see all these little jobs I do throughout the week add up. So guys like Hilty, guys like Paul, they help me out a hell of a lot, man. They help me out a bunch. And I'm very, very grateful. Okay, that'll do. And we're almost done, boys. Very, very close to being done. Then we'll get these bets up on in the background. And while I'm answering some questions, you guys can all go and copy them. Almost done. Okay. I could also give you guys a sneak peek at a new area of the website that's going to be coming next week. Free for everyone to access. I'm just trying to get some legal shit sorted out with it. Just like disclaimers and stuff. So that I don't get into trouble. But I'm basically building a community part of the site where people can kind of share information on stuff. Ah, shit, I knew that would happen. Why is that happening? Why is that happening? Let's go back and fix this. Oh, God, why is this happening? Sorry, boys. See if that fixes the problem. 2 seconds. Usually I leave templates in, but they've disappeared here for some reason. There we go. Fixed it. Alright, give me 2 seconds and we'll fix the other two. And then we're done. Boom. There we go. There we go. There we go. Alright, so I'll keep that up in the background, boys, while I fly through your questions, man. So I'm feeling like Twitch has been a bit neglected tonight, right, boys? Feeling like Twitch has been a bit neglected. So I will start there. Let's see what we've got. Oh, nice one, Hypen. Hypen likes the props this week. Alright, let me know any questions, boys. Drop them on my website, on Twitch, or on YouTube. We'll get to them. Also, boys, if you're watching fights by yourself, you know what it's like, right, boys? The UFC broadcast is long. The UFC broadcast lasts for like 6 to 7 hours. It's a long time. And you know what it's like. In between fights, it gets boring. So, you know what I mean? You could just start scrolling through your phone. You know, you just start scrolling through your phone. Look on Twitter. Look at some bullshit. Look at what Trump's doing next. Seeing how some geezer you went to school with is now a fucking Bitcoin millionaire. Do you know what I mean? Just scrolling through your phone. If you're bored in between fights, just come to the chat room, man. Go to the community, public chat room. It's free for everyone. Just come hang out, talk about the fights. Make that time pass in between fights a little bit better when it's obviously pretty boring. Yeah, come on down, boys. Come on down. Come on down. Alright, let's go through some comments then. On Twitch, what have we got? Hey, what's up, Ryland? What is it? Hey, Kerry Lomas, you slag. What have you been doing, man? What have you been doing? Kerry in Wales, the name Kerry. Kerry is actually a girl's name and a boy's name. So, you know, don't know what kind of slag action's been going on there, man. But yeah, nice one, Ryland. Cheers, mate. OGIV is saying, you think it would be okay to sprinkle a little something on Gilbert Burns winning by submission? Let's take a look at the odds, man. Let's go. Let's take a look at the odds. Yeah, the odds aren't bad. The odds aren't bad, dude. The odds aren't bad. But then, if you're gonna bet Burns to win by knockout or TKO anyway, you may as well just take Burns to win inside the distance. The thing is, I think if Usman tries to take... I think if Usman takes Burns down, right? If Usman tries to take Burns down, the longer these boys spend on the ground, the longer the chances that Burns can get a submission. But I do think if Usman wants to keep the fight standing, he can use his wrestling in reverse to just neutralise anything Burns tries to do with him, with his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and just keep the fight standing. That's why I kind of like Burns to win by knockout or TKO more, because I feel like that Colby fight showed that if Usman doesn't feel like he has an advantage on the ground, he'll just keep it standing. But I could be wrong, man. I could be wrong. Artemius Harris, what is your favourite over-under bet? Let's have a look, dude. That's not a bad one. Under 2.5 rounds isn't bad. But then no, actually it is bad. It's pointless. Because there's barely any chance that Heinisch finishes Gastelum. So that is actually a terrible bet, because you're just better off betting Gastelum to win by knockout or TKO. So forget I said anything there. The over-unders are quite tough on this card, man. There weren't too many that I liked. Had a great one last week. I hit the under 4... What were the odds on it? We hit last week for over... So I haven't got any over-under bets for this week. But last week we did have under 4.5 rounds in the Overeem Volkov fight. Went quite big on that. I thought the odds on the under 4.5 rounds was so generous, man. Just because the probability of Overeem being able to survive in there with Volkov for 5 rounds was so slim. But I'm digging through these over-unders and I don't see anything that generous for this week. There's nothing there I like. Those girls are tough. Nothing I really like there. Nothing I like there. Nothing there. That's cancelled. See, the over 1.5 rounds is tempting, but then Pitolo's submission and striking defense is so bad, and Marquez is super aggressive. Like, Marquez is one of these guys that just comes after you relentlessly. So I'm not sure if I like that too much either. Hernandez is really flaky, so I'm not too keen on that either. It's a tough card for over-unders, man. I can't give you one, mate. I genuinely can't give you one, Cyfix. There's no real over-unders I like on this card. Let me know, guys, if there's any you like. But there's none for me. A. Palmer's just bet Kelvin. Cyfix is saying, to be honest, I think every time Usman's taking Burns down, Burns will gladly go to the ground. Yeah, I agree, dude. And that will make Usman let Burns back up to his feet. So this will be a stand-in fight. Yeah, I could see that happening, man. Cyfix, have you ever tried MMA yourself? No, mate. I am a giant pussy, mate. Giant pussy. I just got into MMA because I needed a way to... I got into MMA because when my son was born, about 12 years ago now, actually, though, I got into MMA way before this. I got into MMA about... how old? It would be 2... I got into MMA about 18 years ago. But I started betting MMA basically when my son was born 12 years ago. You know what it's like. Babies wake up in the middle of the night. They won't go back to sleep. So it was just one of those times where one night I was up with him on the sofa downstairs because he wouldn't sleep. So I was just like there holding him, feeding him. And it was like 4 a.m. in the morning. And I was just flicking through channels. Back then, he was on Satanta Sports in the UK, and like a UFC event was on just Saturday night. So to like make the fights more interesting, I just bet a little bit of money on him, and it just went from there. Like I never got into MMA because I like fighting or anything like that. It was just a way to make money. I just found I was pretty good at it. It was one of those things where there wasn't too much of a learning process. It was like almost straight away I was profitable at betting MMA, like really early on. And I think it was just because back then, liquidity on betting MMA was so small. Like, barely anyone bet MMA. It was like nobody even knew about the sport really in the UK back then. So because of that, the odds were just way off on UK betting sites. So I think I became profitable really quick, not because I knew that much about the sport or because I was particularly smart, but just because it was way easier back then. Oh, nice one, Cyfix, man. Hey, Cyfix, it'll be good to see you in the chat room later on, dude. Let me know what your username is in there, man. I don't recognize your username, dude. Sneaky X2 is saying, do you like green row under 2.5 rounds? Do you know what? That was one of my favourite ones. That was one of my favourite ones, dude, for sure. The only thing that makes me feel a little bit like not loving that bet very much is the odds are obviously favourite odds. You're not even getting a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio on your money. And on top of that, Gabe Green showed in his UFC debut against Daniel Rodriguez that he's tough as nails. But Rowe is pretty dangerous, to be fair. Rowe is one of these really low-level guys who's also dangerous, which is a bit of a paradox. But dangerous submissions, when he opens up, he's got heavy hands. It's just that he doesn't move particularly well. He's not that athletic, and he's a little bit low-level. Arthur Mayer saying, I guess I should have been more specific with a question. Gun to your head, what's your favourite over 1.5 rounds, regardless of odds? Okay, probably this one, man. But the odds are terrible, dude. The odds are terrible. I think Ewell versus Gutierrez is the most likely fight to go over 1.5 rounds, just because neither guy is particularly dangerous. And if Gutierrez does get a stoppage, it's likely to come later on. Oh, nice one, Cyfix, man. Nice one, mate. Nice one, dude. Oh, right, Reese Beasley as well, man. Thanks for your email the other day, mate. I will definitely be emailing you back. Just it gets busy towards the end of the week, mate. I will be emailing you back on Monday, man. Thanks a lot, dude, for reaching out. Yeah, I usually just save answering emails until a Monday. All right then, boys. What I'm gonna do is I'll scroll back up on YouTube and we'll answer any questions you've got, boys. What? Let's go. Let's answer some questions. We'll probably do about 30 minutes of Q&A, boys, and then we can all run off and get ready for the fights. And what I'll do, we got to get this back up, right? Gucci's saying over. That's a really good one, actually. So Gucci is saying that Usman Burns should go over 1.5 rounds. I agree with that, dude. What are the odds on that? Yeah, that's good. Just the odds are shit, right? That's the problem. Look, I'm not saying that it's hard to call over-unders this week. I'm just saying that the odds don't make sense to bet them. You know what I'm saying? The odds are just poor. The odds are quite accurate on the over-unders this week. John Emerson is saying, why do you think that the UFC's website has so few stats filled on so many fighters? It's just because the juice isn't worth the squeeze, man. You know, most people don't care about most of the fighters on the UFC roster. Certainly most people don't care about the stats. Also, because the UFC are bringing in so many new fighters, you know, into the promotion to try and, you know, keep up with the amount of cancelled fights, to keep up with the amount of events they're putting on, fighters aren't spending enough time in the cage to generate worthwhile stats. So, for example, you look at a guy like Gabe Green. You know what I mean? He made his debut against Daniel Rodriguez on literally a week's notice. Say he gets submitted in round 1 tonight and then, you know, loses his next fight. He gets released. It's just hard keeping up with it all, right? It's probably not worth their effort. Most people don't care about stats, especially for guys like Gabe Green, you know what I mean? As harsh as that is. Oh, nice one, Scotty Pimpin. Good to see you, man. Thanks a lot, mate. Yeah, we're back now, boys. We are back permanently. I tried to Trying to get every YouTube video out now for the UFC on Wednesdays, Thursdays at the latest. 120 Naldo is saying Grasso worth a bet at 2.0. Do you know what, mate? I'll keep saying this, right? I definitely lean towards Grasso based on past performances, because based on past performances, Barber doesn't have the offensive wrestling to take her down. However, Barber is a grappler, and we know Barber's been training with Izzy Martinez, Ben Askren. She's been working on her wrestling. So because she's only 22, one day she's going to show up and she's going to be able to wrestle. And any wrestler is going to cause Alexa Grasso a problem, because Grasso's got really poor takedown defense and a really low-level ground game. So based on past performances, I definitely lean towards Grasso, like, heavily. Like, the version of Grasso that has fought in the past would murder any version of Barber we've seen in the past. However, Barber is going to show up soon with wrestling, and that might be tonight. So it just depends on if you're happy to take that risk or not. For me personally, I'd rather not. I'd rather keep things a little bit tighter and just wait for stronger positions to put my money where there's not as much risk. But based on past performances, Grasso should win, mate. Artem Labov is saying Burns' odds are suspicious because they're so undervalued. Yeah, do you know what? I was saying I've been saying all week, when we researched that fight, there were about 100 people watching, and I'd say 90% of them lean towards Burns. So it's really, really weird how the odds don't reflect that. Like, the odds haven't moved at all. When I first saw the odds open up with Usman as a big favourite, I just assumed that the odds would decline on Burns, but up until today they haven't really. They've started to decline a little bit today, but like nothing major. It is a little bit weird. Artem Labov is saying, why is Stipe the underdog against Francis Ngannou? I think it's because Stipe is quite old now, right? How old is he? He's like gotta be 39, right? 39, 40, something like that. 38. And you look at Francis Ngannou, young, hungry bull, going to be making big improvements. You know, 34, in his prime for a heavyweight. And I think with a guy like Francis, because he's so aggressive, you've got to put yourself in so much danger to get close enough to take him down in the first place. So I just think that's the reason, man. Oh, nice one, David Zhao. Always asking people to smash that like button, mate. I really appreciate it, David. Thanks a lot, dude. Oki Ness is saying, tonight is dog shit for betting. I find only bet I like is Burns. I'd be fine if he loses because I love his odds. Yeah, I agree, mate. I've barely got any bets tonight. Well, I haven't got any like proper big pre-fight bets or anything like that tonight. I'm just gonna save this one for live betting tonight. We've been doing phenomenal on live betting. On the last 19 UFC events, we've made a profit on 18 of the last 19 UFC events. So tonight I'm just looking to turn up, work boots on, take that sniper approach, bank another profit in live betting, and then move on to next week where hopefully it'll be better. Oh, nice one, Bout Better. Thanks a lot, mate. Scott Louis asking where the chat room is. All you gotta do, mate, go to MMABettingTips.com. If you type it into Google, it should come up number 1, and then go to community and public chat room, and then you can just get the chat room will load. You can just chat while the fights are happening in here. See a few people in there now. Got 25 people in. You can sign up for a free account on the right hand side, man. Be great to see you, some of you guys in there later on. It's kind of like an extension of this YouTube chat, you know. Jacob is saying, do you have to be a paid member for live bets to watch your broadcast? The live betting broadcast, yes. Only because, right, with live betting, obviously, with live betting, the more people that try to place the same bet at the same time, the faster the odds decline. So you can't have, like, loads of people, like, all trying to place the same live bet. So at the moment, we've got about 250 people watching this live stream. if 250 people all tried to place the same bet at the same time live, the odds would just get smoked. So because of that, we just basically set like a cap on the number of people that join every week, and then that means that everyone has got an opportunity to place the bets. Yeah, unfortunately, it can't do it to a big audience. It's always going to be one of those things where, because MMA fights only last 15 minutes, and the liquidity is not that high, it's hard to put live betting content out to a really big group. It's not so bad in things like football, NFL, basketball, because the games last a lot longer, which means people get longer to lock their bets in. And obviously liquidity is so much higher as well, so there's more money, being bet on those sports to absorb those big bets. But, if you think about a fight tonight, say we find a bet on, Philip Rowe against Gabe Green. Say we want to live bet that fight. Hardly anyone will have bet this fight. Like, if we look at, you can actually see the liquidity on exchanges, right? And I understand that these are just exchanges. I do understand these are exchanges, and sites like, every site has their own liquidity pool, right? I understand this. But if you look at like Phil Rowe against Gabriel Green, only £1,848 worth of liquidity is being bet on that fight. If we look at Betfair Exchange, where's MMA? They're wow, they're they don't have MMA. Really? That can't be right. That can't be right. They haven't listed MMA. That can't be right, surely. All sports. Oh, here we go. Wow, they're fucking. Yeah, their navigation isn't too great. All right, so much better here, right? So the liquidity there is 9,486. But if you think about it, you know what I mean? Say like 250 people all try and bet £100 at the same time. That liquidity just gets fucking smashed, especially when they're all trying to bet it on the same thing. So yeah, it's just tough, man. Pain in the ass. Boob is saying, do you think Fluffy Hernandez could keep his standing and knock out Vieira? So Hernandez's striking is actually at a very low level, even though Vieira is the grappler here. Even though Vieira is the BJJ guy, I actually think Vieira is a better striker than Hernandez, which I know sounds crazy, but if you research the fight, you'll see what I mean. I don't think Hernandez is dangerous to actually go out and knock Vieira out, but I do have some concerns over Vieira's gas tank, where he does get flatter and flatter as the fight goes on. So maybe if Hernandez can survive into the second or third round, he might be able to kind of stop him with strikes, just if Vieira gets too tired to defend himself. But in terms of Hernandez actually just knocking Vieira out, I do think that's unlikely. Nikki Dalgard is saying, what do you think about props system betting versus just on Bet Direct? So it's hard to make big money on prop bets, man, for the same reason that it's hard to make big money on live bets. The liquidity on prop bets is even much smaller than live bets for the most part. So really, if you want to make big money in MMA, I'm talking like hundreds of thousands a year, millions a year, you need to crack pre-fight betting, which is really what I'm trying hard to do at the moment. You can make a good few thousand from prop bets every year for sure. You can make a good few tens of thousands from live betting MMA, just because now you've got like 50 different betting sites that offer it. But if you want to make that fuck you money, if you want to make like millions, you gotta crack pre-fight betting, which is why I'm pouring all my energy into trying to do that at the moment with the lab, with these lab experiments. That's why that's like my main focus. OGIV is saying Ricky Simone and Rodolfo Vieira parlay is minus 135. I think they're the two safest bets tonight, dude, for sure. I think they are. Broadcastville is saying, I wouldn't write off Pitolo that easily. His striking defense isn't that bad. I don't know if I can find you a picture. See, boys, this is why you all got to follow me on Twitch, man. Twitch.tv/Diary of a Pro Gambler. If we were on Twitch, I'd be able to bring up video footage of this fight now, but I can't on YouTube because they're bastards. But if you look at Maki Pitolo's face after the Kazanghane fight, he was wearing an insane amount of damage, and this is just because he doesn't, his striking defense is quite poor. He fights with his hands down low and just gets lit up. You can't really see it. You need to get on Twitch, man. This is why I don't stream my research for every fight on YouTube. It's just too limiting with their copyright algorithm. But yeah, I can't find you a picture. But yeah, Pitolo's striking defense pretty damn bad, and Marquez's style of striking is quite similar to Kazanghane's, where he throws like these long, reaching power strikes. So I think Pitolo could be in some trouble, man. I really do. That's right, Arthur, man. Satan to the good old days, right, mate? Oh, nice one, Tony Picks. Cheers, man. Thanks a lot, dude. Thanks, Tony, mate. Thunder's saying, who you got winning out of Usman and Burns? I'm betting on Burns. I think it's very close to 50-50, man. Hey, what's up, Joey McBride? Hey, Joey McBride's one of my members on my site. He's telling me he's got some good props for us. So, apparently, Chris Gutierrez to win in round 3 is plus 16,000 on mybookie.ag. So that's a very good bet. Joey has dug up an amazing bet there. And then he's also got Gilbert Burns. Scorecards equals no action at even money. Pretty good as well. Very nice, Joey. Thanks a lot for sharing, mate. Mayday is saying, I feel like a lot of people are saying Burns because they don't like Usman. I disagree, man. I think a lot of people are saying Burns just because if you really think about it, if you've taken a lot of time to research this fight, there's no easy path to victory for Usman. Because you think about what Usman does well, right? Usman does a really good job of using his size and physicality to tie his opponents up, drive them into the cage and wear on him. He likes to use his wrestling to grind them down. That's what has made Usman such a great champion. But it's unlikely he's going to be able to do that to Gilbert Burns because Gilbert Burns is an elite Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. So every time Usman tries to go to what he does best and tie his opponent up and smother them in pressure with his grappling, he's going to have to constantly be battling to defend submission attempts. So I don't think people are saying Burns because they don't like Usman. I think they're saying Burns because the odds are very, very wide here. And Burns has the skills to stop Usman from doing what he does best. So in that situation, if you've got a fight that is likely to be competitive and could go either way, one guy's a big favourite, one guy's a big underdog. Common sense tells you have to go to the underdog. I don't know who's going to win tonight. I don't feel confident in either guy, but the value is definitely with Gilbert Burns. There's no way I would be betting Usman tonight. Not a fucking chance, man. I don't think it's because people don't like Usman. I think it's because it's a potentially difficult fight for him. Maybe I'm wrong, but I like Usman. I know people complain about his boring style, but he seems like a nice guy. Yeah, I got no problem with Usman. Adams JATX, what's up, dude? This card is not good, but like a true hero, our man is here. Oh, nice one, man. Thanks a lot, dude. Nice one, Adams, mate. Cheers, man. Yeah, sorry I had to disappear during the pandemic, mate. It was just life got a bit crazy, Dana and Bellator hit us with loads of events. I just had to take a little bit of time off. Get more organised just so that I could deliver content more consistently without letting you guys down all the time like I used to. Now I've got like a way more solid infrastructure in place. Nice one, Christopher Ham. Thanks a lot, mate. Cheers, dude. Orgil is saying, I bet from Germany and apparently I can't bet on MMA anymore on BetWin or Bet365. Yeah, it's crazy, man. The German government went crazy, right? And they banned betting on MMA and esports, which is bonkers. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's just, oh, God, man. I fucking hate how governments get involved in telling people what they can and can't do. It drives me absolutely crazy. It's just a stupid rule. It makes no sense. I am worried that one day the same thing is going to happen in the UK, because in the UK we've got two major political parties, right? Labour, which is a left wing leaning party, Conservative, which is a right wing leaning party. And it's really scary because the Labour Party, the left-wing leaning party, they want to ban online gambling in the UK because some sections of their political party argue that even though gambling in the UK brings in a lot of revenue in taxation, the amount that online gambling costs the government in terms of kind of like harm on a social level with, mental illness, people getting into financial trouble because of gambling, addiction. The money it costs them to fix those problems outweighs the money that gets brought in through taxation. And I know that is the foundation for why Germany made that decision. So I'm just really worried that the UK will do the same thing. Thankfully, the UK's left the European Union now, so I think it would be more unlikely for more unlikely for legislation like that to pass, because if we were part of the European Union, Germany's a very influential member state. Maybe Britain would follow Germany's lead if we were still in the European Union. So hopefully now we're out of the EU, it's more unlikely. But yeah, it's crazy, man. It's bonkers, mate. I feel really bad for you, Orgil. Have you tried opening up an account on offshore betting sites which are not regulated within Germany? Just because when a government makes something like online gambling illegal, it's not usually illegal to do it. It's usually only illegal to provide services for that particular thing to citizens of a country. So, for example, in the UK, crypto derivatives is illegal, right? It's been banned by the Financial Conduct Authority. So when you go onto BitMEX's website, they give you this disclaimer saying that they're not regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK. It's illegal in the UK. Basically, do it at your own risk. But the thing is, say for example you've got a betting site that's based in Costa Rica. That's completely out the jurisdiction of the German government. Like, the German government can't do anything about German citizens accessing the website of a business based in Costa Rica that's providing services. So it might be worth checking out sites like WagerWeb, MyBookie, BetOnline, BetPhoenix, Carbon Bet, BetUS, BetDSI, Bookmaker.eu, 5 Dimes. There's like 12 sites I've just listed there. These bookies kind of fill that gap where they're offshore, so they fall outside the jurisdiction of governments that have banned online gambling in their country, and it means you can still bet with these companies with a normal experience. Many of them have got decent live betting platforms, nowhere near as good as sites we're used to in Europe like Bet365 or William Hill, but they're definitely serviceable. And another really good aspect of these sites is that they accept deposits and withdrawals in Bitcoin, which just makes it easier to move money around. So give it a try, Orgil, mate. I know I've got a few German members on my website, and a lot of them have been discussing this recently in the public chat room. So sign up for a free account on the site, man, and hang out in the chat room. And there'll be other German guys in there throughout the week that you could talk to about this problem that have hopefully found a solution. Hopefully you get it figured out, dude. Hey, what's up, Kid X, mate? Good to see you, man. Jack Thompson, fights were supposed to start in 35 minutes, but they might have been delayed because the Robertson and Maverick fight got cancelled like not that long ago. Yeah, good win, right, Joseph? Cardiff starting to turn the corner now. Mick McCarthy turning things around for us, mate. 2 wins in the same week. It's been a while since that happened, you know. Christian Rodriguez, good luck, dude. Good luck, mate. Evan Landry is saying nobody has ever been prosecuted in the US for gambling online, even though it was made illegal 14 years ago. Yeah, yeah. Evan just basically giving Orgill a free license to go open those accounts up, man. Like I say, when a government makes like online gambling illegal, crypto derivatives trading illegal, they don't make it illegal for you to do it. They make it illegal for businesses to supply that service. So the risk doesn't, you know, there's no risk to you. So that's going to be it, boys. We did it. Thank you to everyone for watching, boys. I really appreciate it. I hope you all absolutely fucking crush tonight. Hope you all do really well. Thank you for watching the live stream, man. Good luck, and I'll be dropping another breakdown video on like Wednesday, hopefully, for next week's card. But thank you for watching, everyone. Love you all. Take care, and I will see you all soon. Have a good night, boys.